in God's Word. Turn to these points in Mark chapter 15. We'll pick it up in verse 16. The soldiers led him away inside the palace, that is, the governor's headquarters. They called together the whole battalion, and they clothed him in a purple cloak, and twisting together a crown of thorns, they put it on him. They began to salute him, "Hail, King of the Jews!" And they were striking his head with a reed, and spitting on him, and kneeling down in homage to him. When they had mocked him, they stripped him of the purple cloak, and put on his own clothes, and they led him out to crucify him. They compelled a passerby, Simon of Cyrene, who was coming in from the country, the father of Alexander and Rufus, to carry his cross. They brought him to a place called Golgotha, which means place of a skull. And they offered him wine mixed with myrrh, but he did not take it. And they crucified him, and divided his garments among them, casting lots for them, to decide what each should take. It was the third hour when they crucified him. The inscription of the charge against him read, "The King of the Jews." And with him they crucified two robbers, one on his right and one on his left. And those who passed by derided him, wagging their heads and saying, "Aha, you who would destroy the temple and rebuild it in 3 days, save yourself and come down from the cross." So also the chief priests with the scribes mocked him to one another, saying, "He saved others, he cannot save himself. Let the Christ, the King of Israel, come down now from the cross, that we may see and believe." Those who were crucified him with him also reviled him. Well, we're going to just stop there, because what we see is the picture of what's going on, right? And the condition, the heart condition of men is clearly evident here. Soldiers, you can say, well, they're just doing their job, they didn't know. But again, it wasn't on them to go the distance, so to speak, to do all this extra of what they're doing, to mock and to pay homage, to suppose he was a king, and so kind of mocking him like that. We wonder, there's different Gentiles mentioned in the Gospels, including one centurion. Here in Mark, we get the story of Simon, and he's the father of Alexander and Rufus, and he's carrying the cross of Jesus to Golgotha, the place of a skull. And I just want you to put yourself in that moment. Because in a sense, we all bore that cross. We all put him on the cross. If sin wasn't an issue, there's no reason for a Savior. But sin is an issue. My sin, your sin. And so we need a Savior, and that's Jesus, who willingly went to that cross. And so Simon, he got to carry the cross of Jesus. The sign said, "The King of the Jews." And while he's there hanging in unbelievable pain and torment, he's being mocked, he's being ridiculed. And they wanted him to come down, because if he did, we would then believe. And yet, they didn't believe when they had the chance. They didn't believe when he spoke, when he healed, when he touched, and made the blind see and the lame walk. They didn't believe when he called them hypocrites. When he said, "You're worried about the outside things, but not about the inward heart, and you don't even know God." There was no belief there. Why? Because it didn't measure up to what they were expecting, what they wanted. As we reflect on this moment, on the crucifixion of Jesus, we don't see, but we can believe. We know it's true. And maybe it's a good reminder that as things happen in life, keep believing, keep trusting. Why? Because seeing is not believing. Faith is the evidence of things not seen. And there's a lot of things we haven't seen. And some would say, yeah, well, you need to see this. You need to know this. You need to do that. The reality is, One day we will see. One day we will know and be known as we are fully known. But that's not yet. That's not here. That's not now. Until that day, we believe Jesus was crucified for you and for me. Not because we were making mistakes, but because of our sin. We've fallen short of the glory of God. But God had a great plan to save us. We need a Savior. That's Jesus. He willingly hung on that cross. He could have come down, could have called 10,000 angels, but he stayed on that cross out of love for you and for me. Till next time, a little by little.